Have you ever been to a baseball game? Have you noticed that some of the pitches aren't flat or they make weird directions? Today we'll be going over the pitches that are thrown in a game. We're going to be going over the types of pitches, how to throw them, and benefits to learning the new pitches. First pitch up, we have a changeup. It has minimum movement, but it has a drastic change in speed from the fastball. A 12-6 curveball is a breaking ball with a different starting point and ending point, and it's used to get batters out when they have more than 2 strikes or you're looking for a pop-up. The next pitch is a slider. It's another breaking ball like the 12-6, but it's a different path and it has slightly higher speed. The next 2 pitches we'll be going over is the most commonly seen, which is the 4-seam, which is a fastball with no movement, and a 2-seam. It's another fastball with some tail to it. The first pitch we'll be going over is the 4-seam fastball and how to throw it. When throwing the 4-seam, you want to put both your fingers over the horseshoe like this, and when you release, you want to pronate your thumb inwards after you throw. It gives a high speed and velocity once you let go of the ball. The next pitch we'll be going over is the 2-seam. It is another fastball, except you'll be gripping the inside of the seams like this. Personally, I like putting my hands closer together because it gives me a better tail effect on the ball. After you get a couple strikes in the batter, I usually like going to the changeup. The changeup is an off-speed ball with no movement, but just drastic change in speed. The first pitch seen is the circle change, and you make an OK sign with your fingers, and you grip the ball, and you put your ring and middle finger over the laces like a 2-seam. The next one I throw is a forkball, and you put your fingers on the outside of the ball, and when you release, you keep your wrist up like this, and it slips out of your hands, and it has no movement. One of my other go-to pitches I like to throw a lot is the slider. The slider is a breaking ball, and it sweeps across the batter, and it breaks down in the middle, breaks down later in the path. I grip my slider like this and put my middle finger over my index finger, and when I throw, you make a J motion with your hand to get the curve effect. A pitch commonly thrown that I don't throw a lot is a 12-6 curveball. And it's once mastered is probably the most effective pitch in all of baseball. When gripping it, you put your index fingernail in between the laces and your middle finger on the laces. And when you throw it, you release with your back of your hand facing towards the catcher, and you punch yourself in the stomach, and it breaks and has 12-6. As a catcher, I have to know when to call the pitches and what situations to be using them in. For example, the first 3 pitches we went over, the fastball and changeup, would be used when you're either down in the count or the count is even. Or when you're using the breaking balls like the slider and the curve, you're usually up in the count and trying to strike them out. But if I'm catching an experienced pitcher like Brady Lincoln, I like leading off with a breaking ball just to throw the batter off. What are some benefits to learning new pitches? One benefit is having a new pitch in your arsenal where you can take on the bump on your next appearance. It can help you improve your older pitches by tweaking them to make them work better. And if you're a hitter, it helps you improve because you can see the pitches out of the hand and you realize what's coming closer to the plate. And if you have more pitches in your arsenal, you become an unpredictable pitcher on the mound, which is very dangerous. Today, we went over types of pitches, how to throw them, and benefits to learning the new pitch grips. Thank you.